Here we go. Here we are, St. Patrick's Day.
Here we are again. We're going to give a tribute to St. Patrick.
A tribute to St. Patrick, and to St. Patrick's Day, and to the Irish.
And to the Irish, definitely.
Now, we have sort of a strange relationship with St. Patrick's Day because, well, John, how do you feel about beer?
Oh, I don't touch it.
You don't touch any alcohol.
No.
Now, I drink a little wine for special occasions, but I haven't drunk beer since high school, I don't think.
It's a high school thing, maybe.
Yeah. And then, you know, it comes to big parties or the parades. You know, we don't really usually go to things where there's big crowds.
No.
We kind of stay away from that kind of thing. So that isn't for us.
Yeah.
And, of course, neither one of us is Irish.
No.
That's the thing, actually. We're English, so then there's that.
Yeah.
And so, you know, and then, you know, green, right? I don't eat green food unless it's vegetables.
Right.
How about you?
I'll eat any green vegetable.
Yeah, but beyond that, it's few and far between. So, okay, and so then it comes to wearing green, you know, and neither one of us really looks that great in green. We don't seem to have...
I have one green sweater.
One green sweater, yeah. I have had a green sweater at different times, but I really don't look that good in green. But, you know, it's like a national holiday. It really isn't a holiday just for the Irish. I mean, I remember in my little hometown where I don't know if anybody was Irish, I'm really not sure. But
I don't think so.
But if you said, on St. Patrick's Day, they expected you to wear green. And I remember coming home and telling my mother, you know, like, they told me I was supposed to wear green today because it's St. Patrick's Day, and she looked at me and she said, you don't have to wear green, dear, because you're English.
Well...
But anyway, that continues at work or whatever. Everybody gets really upset with you if you don't wear green. So you have to come up with some way of really relating to the holiday. Well, John and I, we both really enjoy corned beef and cabbage.
Just love it.
Love it. So we have made corned beef and cabbage many different ways. How do we make it tonight?
We made it in the Instant Pot.
John is the Instant Pot wizard. So he can cook anything in that Instant Pot, and I'll tell you that corned beef tonight was awesome.
Awesome.
I think it's the best we've ever had.
I think it was.
Definitely the best.
And the vegetables were good too.
Yes, everything was great. So, you know, we really do love corned beef and cabbage, and we have a funny story. We had two friends, one from Korea and one from Japan. They were
from China.
From China, I mean, not Japan. And they were a couple, and they would come over to our house for food, but they never really seemed to like, you know, what we prepared that much. They'd pick at it and be polite, but then he started bringing his own food.
Yeah.
And cooking for us, and that was a little bit embarrassing. Well, St. Patrick's Day came around, and we happened to have a night that night when they were coming over for dinner, and so we gave them corned beef and cabbage.
Right.
And what happened?
Oh, they couldn't get enough of it.
They just couldn't. I mean, they ate a whole cabbage.
A whole cabbage.
They did. They ate a whole cabbage, and they liked it served like it was soup.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, and so then every time that they came over, what did they say?
He says, where is it? Where is the corned beef and cabbage?
That's all they wanted to eat at our house, so that was what we served them.
And they liked the homemade bread, too.
Yes. The Irish soda bread.
Oh, boy.
John used to make really good Irish soda bread.
I'm going to make some more of that.
Yeah, we didn't have it tonight, though. No. So, anyway, moving ahead, in terms of finding our own way of celebrating St. Patrick's Day that's sort of authentic to us, being English and Irish and all that, John, of course, he is dressed tonight as St. Patrick.
St. Patrick himself.
A person to be revered.
Right.
And fits right in with John's interests. And so he's going to tell us some interesting things about St. Patrick.
Yeah, the whole history of the church is something that just fascinates me. I really got into a good feel for St. Patrick in the last few days. Actually, he wasn't Irish. He was born in Britain.
So he was
a Brit.
English.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was English.
English, actually.
See, so, you know, St. Patrick's Day,
right.
he's English, there's a connection,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Well, the
Yeah.
thing was, how did he get involved with Ireland? He was 16 years old, and so they kidnapped him. Can you imagine that?
They kidnapped
and made him
him.
a slave and made him work over there.
Who kidnapped him?
It's a bunch of pirates, Irish pirates.
Irish pirates.
Yeah, it
Arr.
was nasty. But I mean, he wasn't overwhelmed when he went over there. He actually absorbed the language and the whole feel of Ireland. And actually he became more engaged with the Christian faith over there. Because England was still a little bit off on that matter. That wasn't until later. So at 22, he had his daring escape. He got out and went back to England, and he did clerical studies as a clergy, theological studies, because then he got this call, a dream, to go back to Ireland to evangelize, just like Paul, the call to Macedonia.
Okay.
Just fascinating story. So he went back there. He actually was the first bishop of Ireland. Now, let me get the right years. This is around the year 400. Could you imagine that far
So
back?
early.
400, really early, really early. And he got back there, and he baptized thousands. I mean, could you imagine that? He'd go to a town, and he'd evangelize the people, and he whenever he got, they couldn't understand things, he put a little Irish stuff into it. So it became a sort of a different kind of Christianity. It had its Irish touch.
Okay.
And it was quite a bit different from the regular Roman Christianity that came, because he figured, well, it needs to be branded Irish. And actually he baptized many, he set up many churches, he set up monasteries, and the women loved him.
What about women?
They all came and got baptized, and some of them became nuns. So it was really quite a revival going on. And he would go to a town, and he'd start the things going, and then he'd get a new group of clergy to take over, and then he'd go to the next town.
Okay.
He'd always leave a group.
A church planter.
A church planter, but actually it was a little different than that. Whereas the Roman church had churches as the key, he had monasteries.
Ah, monasteries.
Monasteries and abbots were the real force behind the church, and it was Celtic Christianity actually that he developed in that way. And that's where the monasteries provided the spirituality, and the people in their homes and villages would then, in their own way, say beautiful prayers and be in touch with God, whether they were baking or whether they were cooking or whether they were planting in the fields.
House church.
Yeah, house church.
Just like what we have. We
Oh,
have
we
house
do have
church,
one.
sort of church. It's house stuff.
And so here's the one other thing. The Irish Christianity really had a strong influence for years over and have actually evangelized Western Europe through St. Columba. But here's the one thing I said, was he married?
Yeah. Was he?
Yeah.
He was
I found
married?
he married to Sheila.
Sheila.
And you know, St. Patrick's Day is today. Tomorrow is St. Sheila's Day. Well, I don't know if she's a saint.
She's not a
They didn't
saint.
have saints
No,
at
they
those
wouldn't
days.
do
They
this.
hadn't started that thing.
Right.
So he's venerated, but he's not. Anyways, so you can.
He's not a real saint?
Well, he's venerated because they didn't do sainthood then. And
Can't they do his sainthoods retroactively?
he's
or something?
really a saint.
He's really a saint.
Yeah. Well, anyways, Sheila, his wife, is celebrated on the next day.
On the
So
next
it's Patty's Day, and then it's Sheila's Day.
Oh.
So if you didn't have enough today, go out and do it tomorrow.
In the name of Sheila.
In the name of Sheila. What a funny story that is.
That's amazing.
It's amazing.
Now my story is a little less spiritual because there's one thing that I do on St. Patrick's Day, or try to do around that time. that's based on something that happened to me when I was 5 years old.
Yeah?
Yeah, when like my family, we didn't like do a lot of things
Yeah.
or a lot of entertainment or everything.
So what did you do?
But once in a while, we would go to DeKalb and go to a movie.
Okay.
Not very often.
No, not in those days.
But when I was 5 years old, they took me to a movie,
Yeah?
Darby O'Gill and the Little People.
Oh, wow.
And it's really an amazing movie. There's Darby O'Gill, who is the hero, and then there's the Leprechaun King.
Mm-hmm.
And all these little leprechauns, and everybody sings and dances, and they drink and party. And Darby O'Gill and the King are always trying to outsmart each other and outwit each other.
Mhm.
And it's just so much fun.
It's-
And then
it's
Darby
fun.
has a daughter who is being pursued and wooed by Sean Connery,
Sean Connery.
the first
wow.
James Bond, and he actually sings really poorly.
Poorly.
I mean, the whole movie is really, really funny.
Yeah.
But, and I don't remember a whole, I don't really remember going to the movie.
No.
But what I do remember is after the movie.
What happened after the
Because one of
movie?
the things in the movie was they had some mystical things. They had Puka, which is a spirit animal shapeshifter thing. And they had the death coach that comes and picks
Oh,
up
the
your
death
soul.
coach.
And then they have Banshee. They have
Banshee?
a Banshee.
Who?
And a Banshee is sort of like a feminine Dementor in
Oh.
Harry Potter.
Okay.
It's sort of like, but I think the Dementors in Harry Potter just sort of sucked the soul out of you and left you like a zombie.
Yes.
Where a Banshee actually comes when you're about to die.
Oh my gosh.
I think that's why you would want to be sure that there was a priest with you at the point of your death, because otherwise the Banshee would come to get you.
No, you don't want that.
Well, I was 5 years old when I saw this movie, but my sisters were teenagers.
Yeah.
And they really liked the Banshee.
All
And I
right.
think part of it was because the Banshee made a very melodious sound, sort of like vocal warm-up exercises. And so they would chase me around like banshees.
No.
And so it was all in good fun. So
Okay.
now that so many movies and things are available, and you could go to Comcast, or before that go to video stores, I always think of Darby O'Gill and the Little People at St. Patrick's Day, because that was my introduction to Irish culture, was pukas and banshees and things like that. So John gave a little presentation about St. Patrick, and so I will now try to do an impression of a banshee as I am dressed tonight as a banshee in honor of the Disney movie Darby O'Gill and the Little People.
All
So
right.
now we have some special effects. So we have to turn off the lights.
All right.
Because
let's
to
turn
be a
off the
proper
lights.
banshee.
Here we go. The lights are going off.
We got to get the overhead light. Just a minute here. See, here's my banshee costume. Now, the banshee also always starts kind of slow, and then she revs up. Okay, here we go.
The hat.
Oh, I got to get my hat on. John.
Yeah.
Thank you, John. That's right. I have the whole, I was
This is really
getting
scary.
ready to do
Uh,
something here, and I'm not even ready.
This.
Okay, so I'm sort of like a Dementor.
There she is.
There's this
There comes
little
Banshee
girl.
now.
Okay, so this is what my sisters used to do to me.
All right.
There you have it. My impression of a banshee.
Oh, 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 oh.
Okay. pen.
Give a hand to that. Very good. All right, we're going to turn on the lights for our
Okay, we're going to keep going here for a minute. Now, there's one other thing about Irish. This is one of my favorite books. Maybe it's backwards, I don't know. It's Celtic Prayers. And where did I get this, John?
You, I think.
Who introduced you to
I'm lost. I can't remember.
You did.
I gave it.
You gave it to me.
Yeah.
I think you gave it to me before we were married.
Yes.
Okay, so I think the Banshee needs a prayer. So
Yeah.
John's going to read one of these beautiful prayers
Yes.
that we'll leave you with on this St. Patrick's Day.
Right. And this fits in very well with the way in which Celtic Christianity just allowed persons to be present to God very simply. God to enfold me, God to surround me, God in my speaking, God in my thinking, God in my sleeping, God in my waking, God in my watching, God in my hoping, God in my life, God in my lips, God in my soul, and God in my heart, God in my sufficing, God in my slumber, God in mine ever-living soul, God in mine eternity. Amen.
Amen.
And so happy St. Valentine's Day.
Wait, you got it? Wait, one more time.
Let's do it again. Happy St. Patrick's Day.